Math is, it's a wonderful collaborative activity. I mean, first of all, it's endlessly fascinating. There's so many different things to discover in the interrelationships between things. I've just always adored. And, the longer I go on in my career, the more things I learn, the more interconnectedness I see, and it's so much fun to discover these things. And also the community of mathematicians. I mean, I really love my collaborators and friends, and it's this great world of people that I love being able to interact with. So that's very sustaining. And there's a whole feeling of trying to bring up the new generation of people and watching people go in various directions. I find it a very wonderful universe. And then of course my work over the years has interacted in some degrees more, some degrees less with more applied fields and outside. And that's not something I think I cared about greatly early in my career. And now I've become very, let's say, not motivated by it necessarily, but very conscious of the beauty of the interactions of math with physics, certainly, but with very applied parts of mathematics. Numerical mathematics I find very, numerical analysis I find very intriguing now in a way that I don't think I ever appreciated early on in my career. I think every mathematician you have to love the discovery. I mean, I always felt like, and I always tell students that I think that it's not that you have to be crazy to do math, but it takes a very particular mindset, that you have to be willing to be engaged in things. There's a lot of suspension of faith. You sort of doing something, it can take a very long time for something to work out, and that you have to be okay with that. If you're looking for immediate rewards, this is not the field for you. But if you're willing to sort of have that very sustained and gradual notion of discovery, and of course there's these moments of great insight and moments where it's extremely frustrating. But if you're comfortable with that, that's just the way it goes. I mean, we all had this kind of, well, those of us who traveled a lot, I certainly probably traveled too much, and and then it came to this sudden stop, and actually that was kind of enormously rejuvenating. I felt like it was very nice not traveling for a while, and now as I ease back into it, I'm really enjoying my travels, much more than before, I would say. I think I'd like to resolve to do it a little bit more consciously, just to really think hard about where is worth traveling. And of course, there's the whole, should one be, playing such a big carbon footprint and stuff. I think that hopefully people are thinking about that more, and they're I'm thank to God the NSF is now making it possible that all grant panels are done remotely, and I hope they continue that, because that was always just kind of like I think it's done maybe 80% as efficiently for zero the cost basically, and there are many things like that, and I think it would become much more easy and comfortable doing that. That if it's a meeting where you don't have to travel across the country or travel into your office to talk to somebody, it's much more easy to interact with them now, and that is a very good feature. And I think both in terms of education and research, as I would say, thank God the pandemic happened then and not 10 or 15 years before, when we wouldn't have been able to communicate at all, basically. And so, I think we've learned that Zoom is really good for some things and not necessarily for others. We've found out how to modulate it into our lives. So I think that's a very positive thing. And I see that in education too, that I think that, of course, a lot of people had really bad experiences with online education, but it can be done very well. And there are lots of times that it can be done sort of in between whiles. I think that we're all getting comfortable with that. I hope that we get comfortable with that, because it's here to stay. And, let me give an example. At Stanford last, I forget, was during summer, during midsummer, there was a big power outage. And, the immediate response was, let's just cancel all classes. And that caused all sorts of problems with that. Complicated. I just said to all my instructors, I said, just record your classes, make them available to students over the weekend, and of course that worked very easily. There's this seamless transition, and it just, everybody could carry on exactly as before. So there are little things like that before, 3 years ago, nobody was really comfortable teaching online. Now we all are. And it's, it's not meant to happen full time, but it's an easy thing to shift into. Or it's like if you're traveling for a week, if you can do 1 or 2 classes while you're traveling, rather than find somebody who's, substituting and who may not know the material, as adeptly as you would in terms of how the class has been going that term. That's a really easy fix. So I think that's a very positive thing. So I really would love to go there and interact with people for a few days, but other times when people invite me to give a talk and, just time-wise it doesn't work out, but I can still, give a seminar and then maybe spend another half hour, 45 minutes talking to people. And, that's something. It's not ideal. And let's say even better, we get, all sorts of great people giving talks at my university, which, they don't have to